We welcome you live to the Mustang Corral here at Edgewood, Indiana. Week 3 of the high school football season in the great state of Indiana. Tonight, it's a battle of 0-2 teams as the Cloverdale Clovers come to take on the 0-2 Edgewood Mustangs. Glad you could join us for Edgewood High School football on Smithville TV. Alongside Quinn Saturday, I am Nick Jenkinson. Quinn, the first thing we've got to talk about tonight is the weather. It is windy. Temperatures were in the low 60s, but there is rain in the forecast coming from the remnants of Hurricane Harvey that hit Texas earlier this week.
Yeah, winds are so ferocious, it feels like we're in mid-fall football right now.
Yeah, it's September the 1st, and it's definitely the weather tonight is fall football weather. These two teams also tonight are hungry for a victory.
I will say one thing though, as we get ready for the matchups. At least in a windy night like this, two running teams like this will not be affected.
Very true. It's going to be interesting to see how much they keep it on the ground, how much they go to the air tonight. Edgewood has struggled this season going to the air this season, just completing, I think, 3 passes on the year. Actually, they're 3 of 20 combined passing between Andrew Graff and Skylar Curtis for just 15 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Edgewood's coming off a tough loss last week, 56-0 at the hands of Northview. The week before that, 36-7 against Mitchell here, a game we had. So they're trying to right this ship in Coach Rosenberg's first season.
Things have not gotten off to as good of a start as Coach Rosenberg would have liked. However, they still do have a chance to turn things around. It's still very early in the football season.
As you see the Edgewood Mustangs coming out of their, getting ready to come out here on the football field in their inflatable helmets. They're all fired up. The weather's not going to bother these guys as here comes the Mustangs under the new coach Brian Rosenberg, 0-2. And Quinn, the main thing for them is offense. They've got to find some offense tonight, particularly in the running game, but one bright spot has been John McLaughlin, 19 carries for 72 yards this season. Jacob Merriman, 11 carries for 35 yards, and Ethan Jacobs, 15 for 41, the bulk of the carries for the Mustangs.
The offense definitely needs to improve. When we had them 2 weeks ago, we did see a nice improvement in their defense. The defense kind of gave up a lot of points near the end because they kind of had the weight of the entire game on them, and they kind of collapsed at the end, having to hold up because the offense wasn't able to do much. So the defense has improved. It's time for the offense to help support the defense so they don't have to put so much of the burden on their shoulders.
Cloverdale comes in 0-2. They lost at South Putnam 20-6. Lost to Greencastle 21-13. This is a program that has really struggled over the years. Just one winning season since 1994, and as I'm trying to get through my papers here, it came in 1996 when they were 7-3. They won the Class 1A sectional in 1992. Edgewood hadn't won a sectional since 1990. Cloverdale beat Edgewood last year for the first time, 20-18, a year ago tomorrow at Cloverdale. So these two teams are hungry for a victory, but Parker Watts, their quarterback, has thrown for a touchdown pass. He's also rushed for a touchdown pass. Nick Winders caught the touchdown pass. So I look for a very low-scoring game tonight, but Parker Watts may be a guy that can go to the air a little bit when he has to.
Especially, well, as long as we don't have these 20-mile-an-hour winds going on at the moment, definitely he will be able to pass.
As Cloverdale is coached by Tom Winders. He's 0-2 in his first year at the school. Been outscored 19-41 in both games. Offensive average 9.5. Defensive average 20.5. Edgewood, they've been outscored 92-7 in 3 games. Their offensive average 3.5 points a game, but giving up 46. As Edgewood Cloverdale will kick off. Edgewood will receive here. Glad you could join us. A windy night here in the corral. Right now the rain has held off, but there is rain to the south of here, so we will monitor the skies as the game goes gets going. But we are underway here as Edgewood's going to return it with number 9 for the Mustangs, and he's going to get upfield and he's going to get knocked down around the 25-yard line. That is Cole Hall, number 9. And where you were talking about before the game about who was going to start at quarterback, because we saw in week 1 where Andrew Graff started the first half, Skylar Curtis came in the second half, and it is going to be Andrew Graff going to start tonight, the senior for Edgewood.
Yeah, he played decently well during the first half, but he did make quite a few mistakes that did prompt Coach Rosenberg to have to make a change.
On first down, he hands it off. And that is Jacob Merriman, number 22, with the carry. Will bring up second down. Again, we saw this also in week 1 where Edgewood and Cloverdale or Mitchell kept the ball on the ground so much. I mean, it made for a very fast game. On second down, Graff. We see Graff go to the shotgun a lot. Right now he's going under center these first 2 plays. He's going to go right back to Merriman. Merriman's going to bowl his way past the 30, and it will bring up a third down.
Makes sense wanting to do the direct snap instead of the shotgun snap in this kind of win. You don't want any fumbled snaps.
No, you don't. I think you're going to see both teams be very conservative tonight because of the conditions. You're not going to see a lot of play fake, trickeration or long bombs. I think you're going to see these teams keep it pretty simple and keep it on the ground quite a bit. 3rd and 3, Graff's going to hand it off. That will be Ethan Jacobs. He gets out close to the 35. And it looks like it is short of it is a first down for Edgewood. So the Mustangs will keep the clock rolling, keep the chains going.
Jacobs a really good in between the tackles runner, able to convert for a first down to prevent a quick 3 and out.
As you see Graff taking his time, the play clock is at 10 seconds. Down to 5. You see Cloverdale stacking the box, and they go in the handoff. Looks like, I think that was Merriman with the carry. Gain of a yard, 2nd and 9. Edgewood yet to go to the air, yet to really go outside the pocket either. I mean, they're keeping it right up the middle. Pretty conservative so far. Graff under center. Now he's going to take a throw, and it is caught, and there he goes! See you later! Touchdown, Mustangs! And it is Cole Hall! And Edgewood is on the board.
I just want to mention how perfectly Graff performed that play. First off, he knew when you go to the air, especially when it's windy, the higher you go, the more turbulence and the more variability. He sent a bullet straight line right into his hands, and not only was it on target, it actually threw the receiver open because he had to move out of the way of the cornerback to get it. And from there, the cornerback lost his footing, and he went right to the house. An excellent start for Edgewood.
Cole Hall, 64-yard pass from Andrew Graff, his first touchdown reception of the year. Graff's first touchdown pass of the year. And Edgewood quick strike, their first points in the first quarter all season.
And that has to be really huge for Graff's confidence. going forward.
Noah Bice with the extra point. It is up. It is good. And Edgewood up 7 already with 9:07 to go in the first quarter. That's going to get this crowd that's braved the weather tonight fired up, the home team fired up. So a good start for the Mustangs. As again, we mentioned that against Mitchell, they gave up 6 in the first quarter, 7 last week to Northview, so had been outscored 13-0 coming into tonight. But what a quick strike as Graff finds hole. Just a very short pass, but like you said, perfect placement.
Yep, that there's a philosophy in, I believe it's the West Coast offense, where a quarterback's job is to throw a receiver open, and that's what he did right there. And you mentioned the 7 and the 6-0. That also shows that Edgewood has started off pretty good defensively as well. To get the win, they'll need to have that same defensive intensity in the first quarter and through the rest of the game.
As also a reminder that these two teams are in the Western Indiana Conference East Division, so it is the opening game of the conference. And that's important because where you finish in the division is where you end up in the overall conference standings for that crossover game in Week 9. So here goes Edgewood kicking it off. Vice with the kick. It is fumbled. It looks like Edgewood has it. No signal yet. It is an Edgewood ball. Cloverdale muffed the punt and Edgewood recovers. How about this?
We were mentioning passes being a potential problem with this win, but we forget to mention also that in terms of kickoffs, it's going to affect the ball, especially since I said the higher it goes, the more variability there is. They kicked that one really high, and that one wobbled quite a bit, and the returner was unable to get under it. Excellent job by Edgewood, and now they have a huge opportunity to get ahead. And against a team that loves to run like Cloverdale, being in a huge deficit like this is the worst case scenario.
As you see, Graff from the shotgun, 1st and 10 at the 28. It is Graff. Going to keep it. Graff to the outside to the 10, and he gets knocked out of bounds inside the 5-yard line.
Excellent blocking by Edgewood. It really sold the run on the right side, leaving a clear pocket and hole for Graff to go through on the left side.
Graff gets knocked down at the 6, and it will be 1st and goal for Edgewood. Edgewood coming in here playing with a purpose so far. Struck on their first possession and then caused the muff punt. There is the handoff to number 5 for the Mustangs, as it will bring up a 2nd down. That is John McLaughlin, the leading rusher on this team. 2nd and goal for Edgewood. Again, very windy. You see the flags at the top of the football field. Winds in excess of 20-25 miles an hour tonight, as it's been cloudy all day here in south central Indiana. Graff, that is McLaughlin up the middle, gets just a yard or two, bring up a 3rd down.
It's very interesting. This is a very small sample size since we're only about like 4 minutes into the game. However, anything that Edgewood has gone right up the middle or between the tackles, Cloverdale has been able to stop relatively quickly, maybe get 3 or 4 yards, but anything to the outside so far, the 2 plays that have gone to the outside have been huge plays for Edgewood. We'll see how their play calling changes through the game, knowing that Cloverdale is very focused on stopping between the tackles.
And we saw Graff going shotgun on 1st down, but now he's going 3rd. He's going to drop back, and he's going to get sacked. That is number 24, Jake Wilkes, a junior for Cloverdale. So now this is 4th down and 7. And looks like Noah Bice is going to kick the field goal.
I was going to say, in this weather condition, this is usually a no-brainer. However, you have to kind of think about it. We'll see if he's able to connect on it.
Bice is a senior. Bice's kick is up, and it is good, and Edgewood takes a 10-0 lead as Noah Bice connects his first field goal of the season.
Yeah, and just as I was saying that, the wind kind of just died immediately as soon as he went up for the kick. A little bit of stroke of fortune on there, but also an excellent job by him to be able to convert it. And now Edgewood, after not leading at all this season, now has a double-digit lead halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, on PAT attempts this year, Bice hasn't attempted anything, and 2-point conversions, Edgewood had never gone for it. So our Bice was 1 of 1. There was 1 of 1 on PATs, but so good job by Noah Bice to get his first field goal of the season, and it's 10-0 Edgewood. As again, both these teams come in with losing streaks. Edgewood has a 5-game losing streak dating back to their last time win September 30th, 2016 at Brown County, 23-13 as the kick goes out of bounds. Cloverdale has a 6-game losing streak dating back to September 23rd, 2016. Also a win against Brown County, 19-11. So both these teams trying to break their losing streaks and get on top in that WIC East tonight with Owen Valley at Indian Creek and Cascade at Brown County in the east. You got Northview at Sullivan, South Putnam at North Putnam, and West Vigo at Greencastle in the west.
And I just wanted to mention quickly that that's probably not going to be the last time we're going to see a kick go out of bounds tonight with the way the wind is going.
And it's Drew Boyette, the quarterback, number 8. Parker Watts is 7, but Boyette's the starter. Watts is filled in at points in the season. So it's actually Boyette, the senior, going to lead Cloverdale's offense. And that was a run, 2nd down and 8, gain of 2. Got a man in motion, but before the snap, there is a flag.
Man, we had half of a quarter with well, I guess technically the kick out of bounds was also a flag as well, but basically what I'm trying to say is kind of a difference from last week.
Yeah, last week between Bloomington North and Greenfield Central, over 20 penalties in that game. As there are some raindrops starting to fall here. As it's 2nd and 13, there is a pass, and it's overthrown, intended for Tice Jackson, number 5. And that'll bring up a 3rd down for Cloverdale.
Well, we already know the answer to the question. How soon is Cloverdale, a run-dominant team, going to go to the air? Fairly soon.
3rd down and 13, ball at the 27. Of course, you're already down by 10, so you can't be too conservative. As you see a man in motion, and Boyette's going to go right back to Jackson, and again, could not find Jackson, just outstretched his arms, incomplete, brings up 4th down.
Kind of a difference between the pass that he threw and the one that Graff threw. As I mentioned, with the way the wind is today, you don't want to put a lot of loft on it. You're going to want to make a lot of short dump-off passes instead of trying to go to the air. That one kind of sailed a little bit over his receiver.
Cole Hall is back deep for Edgewood. Punt by number 10, and it's high in the air, but it's not going to go very far. That was Trey Henry, number 10, with the kick. So Edgewood gets great field position and a flag on the play. As ball is not been spotted yet. It is Edgewood ball.
Sideline warning against the Mustangs.
And they called Edgewood for a gave Edgewood a sideline warning.
Take over where the ball went out of bounds at the Clovers 38-yard line.
So the ball is at the Cloverdale 38-yard line. So Edgewood again with great field position early on.
And part of that was the pressure. Edgewood really was able to get off the line right at the snap and really pressure into a much quicker kick than the punter wanted.
And Cloverdale jumped off sides.
Flags before the snap.
And that will move Edgewood up 5 yards.
5 yards penalty, first and 5 from
And that will put them
33-yard line.
at the 33. So we're 1st and 5 for the Mustangs. Here comes Graff leading the offense in the shotgun now. You got 3 wide receivers, 1 in the back. That is number 5 for Edgewood.
McLaughlin, the ball carrier, he gets it inside the 30.
That is McLaughlin.
29-yard line. Second and 1.
So a gain of 4 for McLaughlin, 2nd and 1. As rain gets a little harder here. Graff under center. That's the handoff to McLaughlin, and he gets knocked down by Tice Jackson. And McLaughlin and Jackson doing some finger pointing. And that was a Jackson tackled him for a loss. So ball at the 31. Officials are gonna warn those two early.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a little bit of psychology here, especially on Cloverdale's side with the weather conditions and also how the game has started, to see how much they can hold their composure.
There's the toss, and he gets out to the 30-yard line as number 8 with the carry for Edgewood. I think that was 8. Skylar Curtis. So the backup quarterback into the game for Edgewood. But so far, Edgewood moving the ball fairly well with just under 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
This would be a huge defensive stop for Cloverdale if they can hold them right here.
Graff under center. It will be Curtis trying to bounce outside. Cloverdale not fooled. 54 and number 4. 4 is Tyler Cave. 54 is Stephen Allen, both seniors for the Clovers on that tackle.
Kind of stalled there, kind of went back to more conservative Edgewood offense during that drive and unable to capitalize on the great field position.
And that's actually a turnover on downs, and it will be Cloverdale ball. So the Clovers have it. Boyette going to the air. It is caught, and he's crossed midfield, takes the cut back, and then he gets tackled just close to the 30-yard line. That is Nick Winders, and that is a Cloverdale first down. Winders caught a touchdown pass earlier in the season, and as we've mentioned now, Cloverdale not afraid to go the air.
Yeah, they are definitely being very aggressive, and like I said, there's a little bit of psychology here, being down early, and also with the weather, with the harsh weather conditions as well, that they There is a change in mentality, and right now they're trying to take advantage of it, and that was an excellent route by the two receivers to try to mix up the cornerbacks. We were kind of confused on it, who was going to get the pass.
As that's a handoff to Logan Abner, the junior, number 21, for the Clovers.
28-yard line looks like. It'll be second and 5.
As it's a gain of 5, 2nd and 5 now for Cloverdale. As, again, Cloverdale, their normal colors are green and white, but they've got black pants, gold numbers on their helmets, gold face mask, and black helmets. There's the run by Tice Jackson, and that is near the line of scrimmage.
No gain, brings up third down.
And a third down coming for Cloverdale.
Offensive play caller is really digging into that playbook to try to get any kind of momentum there. We had the double reverse that was excellently sniffed out by the Edgewood defense.
So far, the Edgewood defense doing a great job. Boyette in the shotgun, play action, and in and out of the hands of Jake Wilkes. Incomplete.
And with the rain coming, add another problem with passing is slippery,
slippery football, absolutely.
Because that was a catch that went right through his hands.
Yeah, he had a perfect chance to catch it and just slid right through the hands. 4th and 5, Cloverdale going for it. Boyette shotgun, and he's going to look far side of the fit. No, he's going to throw it over the middle, incomplete, intended for Tyler Cave, and it will be a turnover on downs for Edgewood.
He had the right receiver, however, he was kind of forced to backpedal, and he threw it a little too far out in front of his receiver to get. If he had thrown it just a little bit closer to receiver, he would have got it, and that would have been a first down.
So Edgewood gets the ball on turnover on downs. It will be Edgewood ball. Here's we got 1:40 to go in quarter number 1.
There are 4 winners, 3 power cards and 1 money card. So you've got
as
chances to win. Make sure you get yours before halftime.
rain a little harder. There's Graff going to hand it off. That's a nice run, and that's going to be a first down for Edgewood, and that will be Jacob Merriman, number 22.
Merriman just bullied his way up the middle. There were at least 6 or 7 defenders who touched him before he went down.
So Edgewood gets a fresh set of downs. As the announcer said, PA announcer said McLaughlin, that was Merriman with the carry. As we're coming up on a minute to play here in the first quarter. Mustangs on top. Graff right up the middle with the QB sneak. Cloverdale was not ready for that. Gets to the 43-yard line.
That's how QB sneaks are best utilized, is with the element of surprise. Those nice little 4 or 5 yard pickups.
2nd and 6 at the 43. Graff. It's going to be a toss to Hall. He gets to the 45. Or McLaughlin, excuse me. Brings up a 3rd and 4 for Edgewood. And it looks like they're going to let the clock run out. So at the end of the first quarter, it's Edgewood 10 and Cloverdale nothing here on Smithville TV.
Welcome to Technology Powered by Smithville. Let our welcoming and friendly staff help you with your technology needs. Stop by to get Smithville Cellular Extra plans on the latest devices. Get routers and tech products at great prices. Plus, if you're a Smithville customer, you can pay your bill and change services. Come see us at the Clear Creek Crossing Plaza or check us out at smithville.com/technology. Technology powered by Smithville, Bloomington's communications and tech store.
And we welcome you back to the Mustang Corral here at Edgewood High School, Ellettsville, Indiana, as Edgewood leads 10-0 against the Cloverdale Clovers as we start quarter number 2. Glad you could join us for week 3 of the high school football season here in the great state of Indiana. Alongside Quinn Saturday, I am Nick Jenkinson. And Quinn, so far a good start for Edgewood in this game.
Yeah, Edgewood has been very opportunistic so far in this game. Did an excellent job with a beautiful pass from Graff to Hall, throwing his receiver open and going for the touchdown.
As we start quarter number 2, and that is the handoff to Ethan Jacobs, number 32, as be a 4th down for Edgewood, as we are just underway here in quarter number 2. So Graff going shotgun. Or no, it's going to be a punt, and he just gets it off. But it's going to take a great Edgewood bounce and going to be down at the 15-yard line.
Yeah, everything's has been turning up Edgewood so far in this game. It'll be interesting to see if Edgewood decides to remain aggressive like they were in the first quarter, or if they'll try being a little bit more conservative now with the lead for the first time this season.
So Edgewood, Cloverdale will get it back. It's going to be down at the 15-yard line, and Drew Boyette and the offense going to try to operate and get something going here on a very rainy night here in Ellettsville. As weather to the south, the remnants of Hurricane Harvey hitting southern Indiana. And this will be a nice run for Tice Jackson out past the 20-yard line. Clock continues to go here as both these teams really running teams, although we have seen both teams go to the air a little bit tonight. But I expect with the rain now settling in that both these teams are going to really keep it on the ground.
Yeah, Edgewood took advantage of the time to pass, which was in the first quarter.
And there is a run for Cloverdale, and he is continuing to go, and he gets up past the 30-yard line. So a good run by the Clovers with Nick Winders, number 2.
Is out to the 33-yard line. That is a Clovers first down.
As Clovers get the first down at the 33-yard line. Boyette under center, and it is a run. He'll get knocked down about the 35-yard line.
Boyette hands off to Abner.
That was Logan Abner, 21
To the 35.
21 with the carry for the Clovers. Brings up a 2nd and 8 as the wind has picked up again.
Yeah, it's kind of alternating between rain and wind.
As Boyette goes under center. There is Winders with the carry. Gets just past the 35-yard line. And it is a 3rd and 5 now for Cloverdale. As, again, you see the rain coming down.
And also, we got to give props to our camera crew who's also braving this weather storm. storm out here as well.
Yeah, our camera crew doing a great job tonight. And there's Boyette with the pass, and that is incomplete. Intended for 30 for Jake Smith.
But there is
And
a flag.
Flag on the play.
Penalty flag laid on the play.
As flag is on the play.
Personal foul against
And
the
it's a
Mustangs.
personal foul against Edgewood. So that is not good news for the Mustangs.
No, as Cloverdale, first quarter, I felt they were, as I was saying, I feel in the first quarter they were a little too aggressive. Now they're starting to play their game a lot more, though, and it's starting to pay off.
Last week we saw Bloomington North with, what, 8 personal foul penalties? Something to that effect. It was really crazy. And now a timeout taken by Edgewood here with just over 8:36 remaining as you see the Clovers coming to the sidelines to talk to their coach, Tom Winders, who's 0-2 in their first year. Again, Cloverdale's a program that has struggled a lot. Just one winning season back over the last 20 years. They've gone through a lot of coaches. They're a 2A school, and they've just really had a rough time when it comes to football in Cloverdale.
It's been some hard times for Cloverdale. They have been competitive though this season in their games though, so they are shown improvement. Right now, they're hoping to get back and become competitive in this game as well.
Absolutely, trailing 10-0 right now with 8:36 to go in the first half. Boyette under center, and that will be Tice Jackson. The handoff, he's going to get to the outside, down the sideline, past the 40-yard line. So nice run by Jackson, but multiple flags on the play.
Holding against the Clovers is preliminary indication.
And a holding against Cloverdale.
That would be a backbreaker.
And officials have not indicated that there were 2 flags. So no signal yet.
10 yards from the spot of the foul.
10-yard penalty from the spout of the foul pushes Cloverdale back.
Brings up 1st and 23.
Be a 1st and 23 for the Clovers. So Boyette under center. It's going to be a handoff, and Edgewood not fooled as the Mustangs stop Nick Winders.
Back to play out for a loss. Back to the 37-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 26.
So a loss of 3, 2nd and 26 for Cloverdale.
As I said, it was a real backbreaker. It had so much momentum on this drive, and it's now kind of gone. They've just been going backwards.
Boyette drops back, gonna throw it, tipped up, intercepted by Edgewood. It's picked off by the Mustangs. They return it past the 35-yard line. There's your backbreaker for Cloverdale, an interception.
There is a flag on the play, so we'll see if it is upheld. But yeah, as it stands right now, that is a huge, huge play for Edgewood to take complete control of this game.
Tyler Martin with the interception. As you see the official on the far sideline talking to Coach Rosenberg. No indication as to the penalty. It looks like it's I think it is against Edgewood. Whatever it is, it's a huge penalty.
Personal foul against the Mustangs.
And it's a personal foul on the return. But it is going to stay with Edgewood. Edgewood does get the ball. Personal foul on Edgewood during the return. So Graff in the offense. Again, Cloverdale can't get anything going. And this is a toss and stop in the backfield. Merriman with the
back to the interception. That was textbook tip drill. The linebacker was able to get a hand on it, and then the safety was able to come right underneath it to pick it off.
2nd down and 13, loss of 3 by Edgewood. As stay tuned, we'll have a great halftime feature for you here on Smithville TV. Next week, rivalry week, Edgewood's at Owen Valley, Bloomington North at Bloomington South. Graff rolling out. That is, in and out of the hands of Cole Hall, number 9.
Yeah, we mentioned those slippery footballs. That was there are catches where it bounces off your hands, and then there are bounces off your hands because the ball is wet.
So that brings up 3rd and 13 now at the 35 for Edgewood. As you see all the umbrellas and ponchos out here at the Mustang Corral.
The camera crew can get a look at our ridiculous setup.
We also have the ponchos and the umbrella up. Graff with the pass. And intended for Hall, incomplete. Now I'm surprised he didn't get called for offensive pass interference. He held on to the Clover defender's face mask.
Yeah, I think the refs kind of let it slide because there was also some holding by the defensive back as well, kind of trying to hold his hands. So I guess instead of throwing up a double penalty, they decided just to ignore it altogether.
4th and 13. Edgewood going to punt. As play clock, and there it is. They get it off in time. And that was muffed, and now 24's got to try to pick it up. And he does get out near midfield. So a good save by Cloverdale. Jake Wilkes on the return. So Cloverdale now going to take over. 1st and 10 at the 48.
You were talking about it being the ultimate backbreaker, but they've kind of got the ball back right where they had it beforehand, thanks to an Edgewood penalty and also a decent return on the punt.
So Boyette under center. Will be a handoff to Nick Winders. Winders breaks a couple tackles, keeps going, and here goes Winders to the sideline, to the 20, to the 10, and does he touch the pylon? They're going to say he was out of bounds right before the goal line, but a nice run by Nick Winders.
Winders did, first of all, he was as slippery as the football has been so far in this game, escaping so many different tacklers, able to get to the outside, and there was a moment there where the defender tried to go for the ball instead of the tackle, and that always makes the defensive coordinator cringe, he was able to get an extra 5 or 6 yards, and now they're knocking on the door.
1st and goal at the 2. Boyette, and movement, and it's going to be, indication is it's against Cloverdale. And it is an illegal procedure against the Clovers, 5-yard penalty. So bring up a 1st and goal at the 7 for the Clovers. Poyet gets the signal from Tom Winders. Here come the Clovers. Rain has died down just well, the wind's died down a little bit. Rain is still coming down. Boyette's going to hand it off to Jackson. He gets to the outside, dives forward, but he is short of the goal line.
To about the 4-yard line, it will be second and goal.
Second and goal for Cloverdale. Cloverdale just located south of Greencastle in Putnam County, probably about 30 miles from Ellettsville, so not a long drive, probably a half hour, about a 45-minute drive. So not a long trip for Cloverdale to make down here, just off US 231. As Winders gets stuffed. Credit the Edgewood defense so far, Quinn, for pitching this shutout.
As I mentioned, Edgewood's defense has improved this overall this season. It may not show in the stat book because of having so much pressure on them, because the offense hasn't been able to do a lot, has kind of caused them to fold down the stretch. But right here with the lead, you can definitely tell the defense is playing with a lot of confidence.
As it's a 3rd and 3 now at the 3. Boyette under center. It will be, and it is another stance by the Mustangs. Brings up 4th down. I think that was Winders with the carry. 4th and goal from the 3. Cloverdale has stalled out here at the goal line.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're going to kick a field goal, this is probably the best time with the rain kind of dying down and the wind pretty much dead at this point.
And it looks like they are going to try a field goal. And it looks like Cloverdale's going to call the timeout. They were set up for the field goal. Looks like that was Trey Henry, number 10. But Tom Winders obviously wants to talk this over with his team before Henry attempts his field goal. So we got 4:08 to go here in quarter number 1. Before halftime, excuse me. As we're glad you could join us here for Edgewood Mustang football on Smithville TV. Our next broadcast will be in 2 weeks, September the 15th. We'll be over at Bloomington North when Terre Haute North comes calling. That will be a 7:30 kick. So Terre Haute North and Bloomington North 2 weeks from tonight. Next week, rivalry week, both Edgewood and Bloomington North on the road, as Bloomington North will take on city rival Bloomington South. Edgewood will go over to Spencer to take on Owen Valley in the Black and Blue Trophy game. So I know those two teams are so next week, a big week in Monroe County for rivalry games.
For such a big game, why can't we go on the road, our first road game?
That would be one of those, be a great thing to do. But right now Edgewood's going for 4th down. Jackson trying to get to the end zone, dives over, and they say he does. Touchdown Cloverdale. Tice Jackson gets the Clovers on the board with a diving effort.
Yeah, he refused to be stopped right before the goal line. Excellent job. Almost got taken down, but kind of used the defender as a catapult to push himself just in for the touchdown. And we have ourselves a ball game.
It is now 10-6. 10-6. As Trey Henry is going to attempt the extra point for the Clovers. And watch the holder. Henry's kick is no good. So right at just over 4 minutes to go, it is 10-6. Edgewood leads, but give Cloverdale credit. Nick Winders with the big run down to the 2. They stall out, and then on 4th and goal, Tice Jackson punches it in from 3 yards out.
That was definitely an excellent audible by the coach to change up the play. He likely saw something that made him call the timeout away from the field goal, and it paid off.
So you see the Clovers on the sidelines, now trailing 10-6, 4:03 to go here before halftime. Again, rain still, light rain coming down. And in fact, last night in Southern Indiana, Charlestown and Clarksville actually moved up their game from tonight to last night. The schools agreed to play, and they got a waiver from the IHSAA because they're expecting more rain down in that area. So teams that have grass fields are pretty concerned about the fact that these fields may not be able to handle all the rain that's expected. So those two teams played last night and played in good conditions instead of playing in this mess tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest rain. Football players are used to rain. It's more of the wind right now that's kind of a bit of a problem, but the wind has died down quite a bit to has not been that much of a problem. I mean, a little wind is okay, is okay, but the way it was blowing earlier was kind of bad.
So the Mustangs will take over 1st and 10 at the 30. As that run will go nowhere, Cloverdale will stop them behind the line of scrimmage.
I want to give credit to the Cloverdale defense, who has also settled down. Granted, Edgewood was given pretty short fields on its field goal, and then at a really long passing touchdown, but they haven't faltered yet and have continued to force Edgewood to have to think outside the box to succeed on offense.
So with 2nd and 13, loss of 3, ball at the 27. Graff gonna throw it to the sideline, jump ball, and it is incomplete. Let's 88, Tyler Calvin, the senior, who was the receiver intended for. Third down for Edgewood. Again, credit both teams, but you said they've now calmed down Cloverdale's defense and Edgewood. I think this is going to stay a tight game throughout.
Yeah, Edgewood definitely took advantage of the crazy weather start. It's got the 10-0 lead, but Cloverdale has really settled in.
There is Graff. That ball tipped, incomplete, as that was intended for number 86 for the Mustangs.
And that would have actually just given Cloverdale the lead, because if he picks that off, I don't think anyone's catching him.
Yeah, that was a very dangerous play, as now Edgewood's going to be forced to punt to give Cloverdale a possible opportunity here to punch it in before halftime. As Edgewood's been dangerous with those kicks. Cloverdale coming in with the pressure, gets it away. Here is 24 with the run up the middle, and he's got daylight to the 10, and he gets knocked out of bounds. But what a run for Cloverdale, and that is Jake Wilkes.
Yeah, the momentum has definitely shifted in favor of Cloverdale. That was an excellent return. That was beautiful punt return blocking, by the way. They really created quite a few seams for him to be able to get through, and the only thing preventing Cloverdale from having the lead right now was being able to push him, the defender being able to push him out of bounds.
So it is 1st and goal. Jake Wilkes with the great punt return. And there is the handoff to Will. Oh, looks like he broke the plane. No indication. That's Logan Abner. Now they say touchdown. Cloverdale takes the lead. Logan Abner with the touchdown run from 7 yards out, and we now have a 12-10 ball game.
Yeah, the common string between these two touchdowns for Cloverdale has been determination. First, being catapulting off of a defender to outstretch to get for the first touchdown on 4th down, and that one trying to avoid being tackled down and just outstretching the ball just so it could cross the plane. Both were very risky, but both plays have paid off, and now Cloverdale, despite being down double digits in the first quarter, now has the lead with just over 2.5 minutes left in the first half.
Clover's going for two. Boyette going to throw it to the end zone, and their receiver, that was Winders, he fell to the ground, so it's no good. But Cloverdale up 12-10 now with 2.5 minutes left to go before halftime. One thing about Cloverdale, they don't quit. These guys have responded with big plays from both Wilkes and Winders.
And that's what I was worried about with Edgewood. It's starting out, like I said, they start off very aggressive, but now they've kind of gotten a little conservative, and now Cloverdale has responded with that. We'll see if Edgewood goes back to being more aggressive here with what will likely be the final drive of the first half.
12-10, and Edgewood has 2 timeouts left. They say Cloverdale has 3 on the scoreboard, but they took that one earlier, so they both have 2 timeouts remaining. There's the kick, and here is the return, and this is Cole Hall, number 9. He gets it out near the 30-yard line. Mustangs will have it first down, and the wind has picked up again. So, as we mentioned, our crew out here in the elements as well, giving you the sights and sounds of high school football Friday nights, braving the elements. So great job by all our hardworking women and men behind the scenes here at Smithville TV to bring you this game in not so wonderful conditions.
Hey, usually beautiful Ellettsville. A little stormy today.
The last 2 weeks have been great weather, sunny and perfect night for football. Not tonight, as Merriman with the carry gets stopped. Again, Edgewood leads this series 3-1. Cloverdale won last year in Cloverdale for the first time ever, trying to go back-to-back against the Mustangs. And both head coaches looking for their first career wins at their respective schools. Both Tom Winders and Brian Rosenberg, first-year coaches. Rosenberg's been an assistant here for several years under several different head coaches, now gets elevated to the head job after Jerry Bland resigned in March. Winders takes over for Tony Meyer, and he calls a timeout. Cloverdale does, with 1:35 to go here in quarter number 2. As you see both teams out there talking to their respective head coaches. As, again, not a far drive for Cloverdale, and they did bring some people down from Cloverdale tonight. Brave the elements here on a very rainy Friday night here in South Central Indiana. But again, both these teams looking for win number 1 on the season. Cloverdale played both South Putnam and Greencastle, both rival schools for them because they're both about 5 miles from Cloverdale in each direction. Greencastle north, South Putnam both of them are north of Cloverdale, excuse me. So, but again, just down the road, rival schools. So 1:36 to go here. Graff going to give the toss to McLaughlin, but Cloverdale not fooled as McLaughlin taken down. As gained a yard. 4th and 7 for Edgewood, and they will punt it away. And you got Winders back there, number 2, and Wilkes, both guys capable. We just saw Wilkes capable breaking it for a big play.
And this is getting really dangerous right now because Cloverdale does get the ball to start the second half, so Edgewood cannot afford to let Cloverdale sneak one more score in.
So Play clock at 3. I think Rosenberg will take a timeout. As the play clock goes down, they're going to take the timeout here to discuss it with 41 seconds to go. So we saw Edgewood come out, take 2 quick strikes, get 10 points, and then Cloverdale's come back with 12 unanswered points of their own.
Yeah, it's been a game of runs, and I'd like to see Edgewood back to that aggressive mentality. Like I said, they've been running a lot of stuff inside. I'd like to see them go to the outside, whether it's through passes or through runs.
As Edgewood has really kind of gone away from the pass lately. They have not, they've basically just kept it on the ground, kept it kind of methodical. And earlier, as the wind really just picked up there, as you really haven't,
I'm here too.
as you haven't seen Edgewood really go to the pass lately. Here comes the punt. Cloverdale's been getting in there, but they get that one away, and they're going to let it take a bounce to about the 34-yard line. So Cloverdale could get one more shot here with a 1st and 10 with 30 seconds remaining.
Well, they do still have, I believe, do they have 2 timeouts or 1 timeout?
Well, the scoreboard says they got 2, but I'm thinking that they only have 1. I thought they took another one earlier when they had that 4th down call that they were going to put the field goal team on, and then they called the timeout and Jackson punched it in. But scoreboard says they have 2. Edgewood's got 1. But I doubt they're going to use their timeout, though. There is Boyette. Quicks looks around. Intended for Wilkes. Incomplete. Brings up a 2nd down.
Nice quick strike, but unfortunately, again, that ball is a little slippery right now with all of the rain, and probably everyone wanting to get into the locker room and get warm after this.
Absolutely. Temperatures have had to drop into the 50s now because of this wind and everything else. It got high of about 63 today. As Boyette's going to take off and run. He's got a couple blockers. He's got past midfield, and he's going to get down just past the 45, and Cloverdale quickly calls timeout. Smart move, as you saw Tom Winters running down the field to tell the official timeout, and also to get the chain set up.
You definitely don't want to force it, especially when you are in your opponent, when you're in your own territory as well, because a turnover would give Edgewood a chance to retake the lead before half. Excellent job just tucking it in and running, and again, the blocking has been really good the last couple of drives for Cloverdale.
Been really good for Cloverdale. They have come to life here in this 2nd quarter with some big plays, with Nick Winters with the big run, Jake Wilkes with the punt return, and then the Logan Abner touchdown run along with Tice Jackson. So Cloverdale springing to life here with 16 seconds to go, 12 unanswered points, and they've got a shot to get it downfield and possibly get another playoff if they can just get it out of bounds.
Yeah, still confused on the scoreboard, still saying they have a timeout left, so still not sure about that.
And here is Boyette. He's going to fire deep. Got a man. It is caught. And he gets out of bounds, as that is Tyler Cave, number 4.
You just mentioned it. A way to bypass it altogether is to catch it and get out of bounds. And at the 20-yard line, they have a couple of shots right here at the end, as long as they don't get caught in bounds or get sacked.
Ball at the 23, so just knocking on the red zone door is Cloverdale. Boyette, shotgun. He's looking for Wilkes. Oh, just just overthrew Wilkes. And they'll have one more shot with 5 seconds to go.
Yeah, overshot him, and also was a little quick as well because he wasn't ready to turn around either.
No, he wasn't ready to turn around, but he knew it was coming. He looked back and saw that it was coming. And looks like Trey Henry is going to try this field goal. So Henry's going to try to get the field goal. And here it is. It's up. And it does not. It's going to be short. And that is going to do it as Cloverdale will go to the half, leading Edgewood 12-10 in this first quarter. The Cloverdale fans making some noise, seeing their boys go to the locker room up 12-10. But here it was, Andrew Graff with a quick strike to Cole Hall. Take it down the field, young man, for the touchdown. Edgewood on the board early. And then again, the Clovers muff the punt. Edgewood jumps on it. As you see, then Nick Winders, he's made a lot of big plays tonight, juking and jiving all over the field. There is one of them, Drew Boyette. The tip pass intercepted by Edgewood. Again, the Mustang defense has played well so far. And then you see Tice Jackson gonna just dive over the Edgewood defender. And then here comes Jake Wilkes with that big punt return down to the 2-yard line. Great blocking by the Clovers as Wilkes gets out of bounds. We're at halftime, Cloverdale 12, Edgewood 10 here on Smithville TV. As we welcome you back to the Mustang Corral here at Edgewood High School in Ellettsville, Indiana. Cloverdale leads Edgewood 12-10. Glad you could join us on Smithville TV. Alongside Quinn Saturday, I am Nick Jenkinson. And Quinn, it's been a tale of a half in this first half. Edgewood scored the first 10 points. Cloverdale's responded with 12 unanswered.
Yeah, the first quarter was very windy and provided quite a bit of traction for Edgewood, who came up to a 10-0 start. However, in the second quarter, the rain started pouring, and that's when Cloverdale flooded in and scored 12 straight points, and will get the ball back to start in the second half as we are at halftime.
Yes, as Edgewood, you see Edgewood leading or out on the field warming up. Got off to a quick start. Andrew Graff found Cole Hall on a quick strike, 68 yards for a touchdown, and then Noah Bice added a field goal. But then Cloverdale responded with Tice Jackson and Logan Abner's touchdown runs, but not to mention big plays set up by Nick Winders and Jake Wilkes on those plays. As you see the Mustangs warming up next week, they go over to Spencer to take on Owen Valley in the Black and Blue Trophy game, the big rivalry between Edgewood and the Owen Valley Patriots. I know that will be a huge crowd over there in Spencer next week. As rivalry week, Edgewood will be home against South Putnam after that. This is the Western Indiana East Division Conference opener for both teams. Edgewood and Cloverdale in the division with Cascade, Brown County, Owen Valley, as well as Indian Creek. In the West, it's Sullivan, Greencastle, North Putnam, South Putnam, West Vigo, and Northview. And again, Week 9 is the Western Indiana Conference crossover game. Where you finish in the division is who you will play in the other division to determine the overall conference standings. The last 2 years, Edgewood has played West Vigo for both 7th and 9th place, and West Vigo has won both contests. So we're glad a rainy night here tonight in South Central Indiana. The remnants of Hurricane Harvey has made its way from the Texas coastline as up here toward Indiana, and we are on the northern end of it. The rain, there's supposed to be more rain amounts down to the south, but I know rain is forecasted as well tomorrow on this Labor Day weekend, a busy weekend around Bloomington. You had Indiana University and Ohio State last night in football. You have, of course, high school football tonight, the Hoosier Cup soccer tournament, which is a big soccer tournament going on over at Carsfarn Park on the west side of Bloomington. And you've got a lot of IU athletic events, not to mention several festivals around town as well. So a busy Labor Day weekend here in Monroe County as well. But Edgewood just trying to get this first victory of the season. Brian Rosenberg in his first season here was an assistant coach under Jerry Bland, takes over now as Tom Winders also in his first season. Somebody's going to get their first win at their respective school this evening. So Noah Bice getting ready to kick off here, as we're glad that you're along with us for high school football. Week 3 already of the high school football season. Just 9 weeks in the regular season, and boy, it flies by, doesn't it, Quinn?
Yeah, we're already a third of the way there, and by the time we come back in 2 weeks, it'll already be halfway over. Can you believe that?
It is hard to believe, but it does go by as Bice kicks this away, and we're underway here in the second half. Cloverdale is going to take it, and he's going to get stuffed immediately as Cole Hall is going to bring him down. As Cloverdale will take over first and 10. And that was Helterbrand, number 12. As Drew Boyette in the offense will operate for Cloverdale for the first time in this second half. Boyette's looked pretty decent tonight, Quinn.
Yeah, he has played very well in this game so far. Really came alive in the second quarter.
First and 10 for the Clovers. As it's going to be a handoff to Nick Winders. He's going to juke and jive past the 40-yard line. That's a gain of 5 for Winders. Brings up second down. He had a huge run that set up the Tice Jackson touchdown.
That's definitely, that I feel like has been the play of the game so far. Granted, the touchdown scored after that was also pretty huge, but it flipped momentum for this entire game.
So, looks like a new quarterback in the game for Cloverdale, and the ball was fumbled, and he had to pick it up. And it looks like that's 7 Parker Watts. So, splitting duties between Watts and Boyette. Because Boyette's still in the game, but Watts, looks like Boyette's going to be a wide receiver now, and Watts is now at quarterback. So you see a new wrinkle here in this Cloverdale offense. As there is number 4 end around, and he gets outside and out of bounds. And that was Tyler Caife, number 4.
Yeah. One thing I'd say, we were talking about how conservative teams would be in weather like this, and it has favored the teams who are running more creative plays. As I said, in the first quarter, Edgewood came out to a 10-0 lead thanks to a beautifully thrown pass and also a great job defensive play calling. In the second quarter on, though, Cloverdale has really done well.
As Cloverdale punts it away, it's going to take a favorable Clovers bounce. They're going to pounce on it about the 10-yard line. So Edgewood will take over. As looks like Graff will come back out on the field. 2 weeks ago against Mitchell, Skylar Curtis started the second half, but Coach Rosenberg has opted to stay with Graff in this game.
No reason not to. As I mentioned, he played excellently in the first quarter. Second quarter kind of came back to earth a little bit, but also didn't really get much of a chance to do anything as the offense was kind of stagnated overall.
So 1st and 10 at the 12 for the Mustangs. Graff in the shotgun. He's going to hand it off, and it is going to be met for a loss. And Jake Wilkes, 24, tackles McLaughlin in the backfield. So Wilkes, Winders, all these kids. Of course, a lot of times in high school football, you see these kids play two ways, as you see a great shot there by our camera crew of the rain that is still coming down here in Ellettsville. Second and 17, lost to 7. It's going to be a handoff, and that is stopped. I think Cloverdale's thinking that should have been a safety. Wilkes has his hands up, telling the officials that should be a safety. It is not. Now it's Ethan Jacobs backed up for another loss.
It's getting close, though. They're now on their own 3-yard line.
3rd and 19 now at the 3-yard line. Not the second half start Edgewood wants. Graff. It's going to be a handoff to Jacobs. He does get out of the shadows of his own goal line and gets a couple of yards going forward. But it's going to be a 4th down, and Edgewood will be forced to punt.
And this is going to set up excellent field position for Cloverdale.
Excellent field position for the Clovers, as it is a punt for Edgewood, and it's going to be downed.
Short pop up to the 34-yard line where the Clovers will have it 1st and 10.
So it'll be a 1st and 10 now for Cloverdale. So the Clovers operate here with 8:15 to go in quarter number 3. And looks like it's Watts at quarterback. It will be a handoff to Jackson, and he's going to cut back, and he's going to get past to the 20-yard line. Good run by Tice Jackson.
I love how he ran that play. He ran east and west for just enough to get past the offensive line, and then went north-south immediately. Cut up the edge, and now Cloverdale in good position.
As it is a 1st and 10 for the Clovers at the 21. Watts, and a flag flies. That is a false start against the Clovers, so move them back 5 yards.
5-yard penalty, I think, it's 1st and 15.
1st and 15 for Cloverdale. As clock continues to run here, approaching 7.5 minutes to go in quarter number 3. And another flag flies. And legal procedure on Cloverdale. So Cloverdale right now, their own worst enemy with their penalties.
I was just mentioning how excellent of a play that was, and it's been basically wasted as they're back where they started.
As First and 20 now at the 31. That will be a handoff. He gets out of bounds.
Handoff to Abner around the left.
Abner, number 21, with the carry.
I have noticed that they have been going left quite a bit in this quarter and have had a lot of success going to the left as well. And that has kind of been where Cloverdale has kind of taken advantage of this game, is finding that weakness in the Mustangs defense.
Weakness in the Mustangs defense. Cloverdale has taken advantage of it as they got a 2nd and 18. And another flag flies, and it looks like, again, it's another delay, another offside penalty, illegal procedure on the Clovers. That's something that they're going to have to clean up here. Third penalty on this drive. 2nd and 23 at the 33. There is a pass, deep pass. Diving for it, incomplete. That was intended for Wilkes from Watts.
I just want to, first of all, praise him for catching up to that. I thought that was way overthrown at first, but he actually caught up to it and almost was able to come up with the catch and a touchdown.
Yeah, what a great play by Wilkes, as trying to make the diving catch, as it is a 3rd and 23. Watts, and that is picked off by Skylar Curtis, number 8. Curtis gets past midfield, flag on the play. Curtis still going toward the end zone to the 20, trying to get past. Gets down at the 10, but there is a flag back at the 30, about the 27-yard line.
He just never saw the defender and threw right at him. Excellent awareness, and we'll see if what the flag does for the play. But overall, that was just an excellent return. We've had a lot of excellent returns in this game.
So there's a injured Mustang down on the field with 6:34 to go. As
the boys kick off at 10-10.
Not sure. They're still attending to the injured player.
Well, it is coming back. That's what we do know. We don't know whose ball it is, though.
So that is Skylar Curtis coming off. Under his own power. Great job by the Edgewood training staff to attend to Curtis.
And the
illegal block in the back.
And a nice moment from the student section chanting Skylar Curtis's name as he comes off the field.
It is Mustang's ball. 1st and 10.
So it is a 3rd and 23 with the illegal block in the back.
1st and 10.
1st and 10 now. 6:34 to go. Now looks like a timeout being called
Timeout taken by the Mustangs.
by the Mustangs.
Timeout of the second half.
So first charge timeout for Edgewood. They got 2 left. Cloverdale has 3 left. As, again, rain is still coming down here. Wet night for high school football. Week 3 already in Indiana.
Yeah, and the lights are on. We're now officially Friday Night Lights. It is soaking wet Friday Night Lights.
Soaking wet Friday Night Lights. The lights, of course, have been on since before game time. It's been cloudy all day here in south central Indiana. So the weather very cool tonight. Fall football weather. Of course, we could do without the rain, but that is the case tonight.
Honestly, as a fan, I would be remembering back to my high school days. I would have enjoyed watching a game like this. Honestly, in the weather, I don't think it's that much of a problem. It's just for people trying to operate the game and also play the game that it's a little bit of a problem.
Absolutely. 1st and 10 at the 16. Graff got a wide open man, and it's incomplete. Now it's Tyler Calvin with the intended receiver. That was a quick pass from Graff to Calvin. Calvin just could not hold on to it. 2nd and 10 at the 16. As that is a run, or looks like 3rd down now. Ball at the 15. Fumble by the Mustangs.
Inside the 15-yard line. 3rd and 11.
So a 3rd and 11 for Edgewood. As it's a run up the middle. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to bring up 4th down for the Mustangs.
Handoff to Merriman.
As it's a handoff to Jacob Merriman.
Brings up 4th down.
And Edgewood will have to punt it away.
Pivot back into punt formation.
So you got Wilkes standing back there at midfield. Again, he is dangerous. He's returned one inside, and it's going to come to Wilkes. It's going to take a couple bounces. Wilkes takes it at the 45, trying to get a couple blockers. He does, and he gets out past the 35, but then a couple flags have flied, some extracurriculars after the game, after the play. 2 flags fly in.
I want to credit the punter, though, who has had a lot of difficult snaps and punt blitzes, but has yet to be blocked tonight. He continues to get it away. That one was probably his biggest magic trick, honestly, being able to pick that one up and kick it away for a decent punt.
As flags fly. Again, we're just under. As we got 4:56 to go with a 1st and 10 personal foul against the Clovers. Unsportsmanlike conduct against both teams.
Personal foul is marked off against Cloverdale. The unsportsmanlike penalty is offset.
So they both offset,
Is the Clovers will have it 1st and 10.
and it is against, it will be Cloverdale's ball. 1st and 10 now at the 46. As Boyette's back in at quarterback. As that is a run by Jackson. It's slow to get up.
Call it 2nd and 7.
2nd and 7 now for Cloverdale. Approaching 4:20 to go here, quarter number 3. Boyette back in at quarterback. It is Winders with the carry, and he's going to get stopped and pushed back.
The way that they've been breaking tackles tonight, do not mind at all to see the group in push them back immediately for Edgewood.
3rd and 7 now at the 43.
This is a huge play right now. Both teams have kind of stagnated with the weather. It's been a little sloppy. A lot of penalties have happened this quarter. If Cloverdale can convert here, they can continue momentum, or Edgewood could take it.
Watts with the pass going deep down the sidelines. That'll be a pass interference penalty on Edgewood. That was intended for Wilkes. Wilkes in double coverage, and that is a big penalty costing Edgewood.
I have just mentioned both teams have been a little sloppy. Cloverdale more than Edgewood, but Edgewood right there with a huge mistake. That sets the Cloverdales in field goal range.
Big penalty cost by Edgewood, 15 yards. That's going to put the ball.
Okay, maybe a little outside of field goal range.
28-yard line. So 1st and 10. That's a handoff. Gets to the 25. Is Abner. Still approaching the 3-minute mark here in quarter number 3. Second and 8. Watts under pressure, and he gets sacked. Watts gets sacked past the 35-yard line. Credit the Edgewood defense with the pressure on the Watts, as he could not get away.
Watts had nowhere to go at all. It just felt like more and more defenders just kept on coming, no matter how many people stopped to block.
3rd and 18 at the 36. Loss at 12 on that play. There's Winders, cuts back, and a flag in the backfield. And that is a holding on the Clovers. So that's going to push him back.
Or are they going to decline it, since it is 3rd down?
The Edgewood coaching staff telling the team to decline the penalty, and it will be declined. So it'll be a 4th down. 4th and 14. Cloverdale will have to punt. As Henry will punt it away. And he does. And it's going to hit the official and actually go right out of bounds about the 3-yard line, 2-yard line.
That was an excellent punt. Able to pin them. That's called the coffin corner kick right there, and he pinned them down right down near their own goal line. And this is going to be a huge series, as with Edgewood backed up against their own goal line, things could go real south if they get pushed for a safety.
Absolutely. Again, it's been a close game throughout. Edgewood got out to a 10-0 lead. Cloverdale's had 12 unanswered. And pushing his way forward for Edgewood brings up a second down, as I think that was Jacobs with the carry. As we're in a minute and a half to go here in the third quarter. Just a yard, so 2nd and 9 at the 4. As you see the great angle by our camera crew, how far Edgewood is backed up. And a flag flies. And it is a false start on Edgewood. Half the distance to the goal. So that's going to put them back at the 2. As we are at a minute to go here in quarter number 3. On this wet and rainy Friday night here in Indiana. Second and 11. As that was a deflected pass, incomplete.
The safety came blitzing in like he was trying to block a field goal attempt and was able to knock down that pass, and a huge play as we are now set up with 3rd and 11.
3rd and 11 now for the Mustangs. Inside of a minute to go here in quarter number 3. As big play coming up. It's Graff. He's got to throw it away, and he's going to get tackled in the end zone for a safety. Well, I think they're going to say he got out. He did get out.
They said he was able to get the ball out of his hand.
Yeah, ruled an incomplete pass. 4th down. So what a huge break there for Edgewood. So a punt. Wilkes standing back at about the 30. They just get it away. This is going to be excellent position for Cloverdale at this point. As the Clovers take over, credit their defense for pinning Edgewood the way they did with that excellent kick from Henry in that coffin corner, as you said.
And again, I want to continue to praise the Edgewood punter. He's had a lot of bad snaps or bad situations and has yet to be blocked. He's able to get away every single one of them.
So a 1st and 10 at the 20 for Cloverdale. Excellent field position for the Clovers. Can they capitalize? There is the handoff to Winders. Flag, multiple flags, and he's taken down. So the penalty flags have been flying here in this 3rd quarter.
And I have to think that some of this has to be exhaustion just from braving the elements so far. Taking a lot out of them. A lot of players are cold, they're wet, they're tired.
As it is a holding call against the Clovers, so we'll put them back to the 35. 1st and 25 for Cloverdale, as we're inside 30 seconds to go here in quarter number 3. And that is Watts with the run. Watts to the 10. And a nice run by Parker Watts as he gets the first down. As they're getting a change set up here. Clock is stopped right now with 7 seconds to go. Gives Cloverdale time, one more play to set up. But they're going to just run it out. So we'll go to the fourth quarter with the Clovers leaving the Mustangs 12-10 here on Smithville TV.
Commercial Service is celebrating 70 years as the largest, most trusted heating and air conditioning company in Southern Indiana. With Commercial Service and Train's special financing rates, you can afford to have the best. But hurry, this is a limited time offer. Preventative maintenance programs reduce repair and utility bills. Also, get your 15% off coupon at commercialservice.com. After a merger with R&S Plumbing, Commercial Service is now Southern Indiana's most trusted plumbing company. 24 hours, 7 days a week. For more information, visit commercialservice.com.
As we welcome you back to Edgewood High School and the Mustang Corral, as it is 12-10 Cloverdale against the Mustangs with 12 minutes to go here. Both teams 0-2 coming into tonight's game. Somebody will win their first game of the season, and one of these two head coaches will get their first career win at their respective schools, as both Tom Winders and Brian Rosenberg in their first years at both Cloverdale and Edgewood respectively. Glad you could join us for Edgewood Mustang football on Smithville TV. I am Nick Jenkinson alongside Quinn Saturday. And Quinn, it has been an interesting game to say the least, but neither team gets on the board in that third quarter.
Yeah, we've had a team shut out in every single quarter. First, Edgewood shut out Cloverdale in the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, Cloverdale shut out Edgewood. And in the third quarter, they kind of shut themselves out with all the penalties.
So it is 12-10 as we start this fourth quarter with a run. That is Abner with the carry for Cloverdale.
About the 7-yard line, 6 or 7-yard line.
As it gets down to the 6-yard line for Cloverdale.
Second goal from the 6.
So second and goal at the 6. Watts. It's going to be an end around handoff, and it is a Cloverdale touchdown. And that is Tice Jackson for Cloverdale. And now the Clovers are up 18-10.
With
Jackson's
a very, very important extra point coming up, because if they're unable to get it, it stays a one-score game.
So Jackson's second touchdown run of the night for the Clovers. Now Henry gonna attempt the extra point. And it is up. And it is good. And Cloverdale up 19-10 now with 11:14 to go in this game. Cloverdale 19 unanswered points after Edgewood scored the first 10 of the game.
You could tell in that first quarter that Cloverdale was a little rattled. The weather situation, the muffed kick, but they have calmed down very well and now have their own 2-score lead here. And now it's time for Edgewood to pull out the same plays they were running in the first quarter and get back into action.
As while we have a minute, we want to thank the hard-working women and men behind the scenes here at Smithville TV, braving the elements tonight as we are bringing you the sights and sounds of high school football. I know it's been a long, hard night for you guys, and we really appreciate everything you do for us, as this has been one of those games where everybody wants to get out of here as soon as possible and go get indoors and get inside and get warm. So we really thank you for what you've done for us tonight and all season long. As Cloverdale with the kick. Here comes the run back. That's a good run for Edgewood. Gets out past the 35-yard line.
And then
another flag.
Looks going to be like a late hit. But I wanted to go back to the touchdown. One thing that Cloverdale has really taken advantage of is that Edgewood's defense has had a hard time on the end arounds. Those have really been successful for Cloverdale's offense in this game, and that's an excellent job to continuously put pressure on Edgewood and make Edgewood have to prove that they can stop them.
So that was Parker Hall on the run back for the Mustangs. That will be a personal foul on Cloverdale, so Edgewood's actually going to get into Clover territory here at the 48-yard line.
I want to say that's the first time this half.
As you see the shotgun formation, Graff going to throw a pass. It is complete at the 45. Brings up a second down.
I don't know how poetic Coach Rosenberg is, but I kind of like how the first play of this drive is from a comeback route.
And that was Tyler Calvin with the reception. As 2nd and 6, so gain of 4 for Edgewood. Now you're going to see the handoff to Jacobs. And he gets about to the 45. So a loss of 1 brings up a 3rd down.
Cloverdale has honestly won the battle at the line of scrimmage the last couple of quarters, which has really helped in terms of stopping the Edgewood offense.
Yeah, Cloverdale has really come to play here with shutting Edgewood down in the 2nd and 3rd quarters, respectively, and scoring 19 unanswered points. Here is Graff rolling out, going to throw it, incomplete, intended for Hall. Going to bring up a 4th down.
I would have liked the play if there was a little bit more room for the receiver to run, being right near that sideline. Granted, it does prevent a defender from the right side. However, it needed a very accurate pass to complete it, and unfortunately, Graff was unable to connect.
As 4th down here for Edgewood. And they are going to go for it. And they're trying to get personnel on, and now a timeout by Edgewood because they keep running on and off the field. I don't think they had the right personnel, and a lot of confusion on that Mustang sideline.
Very important, though, that is their 2nd charged timeout of this half, so they only have 1 left.
Cloverdale does have all 3 timeouts remaining. Edgewood has 1. As we got 9:33 to go in the ball game, you see the Mustang sidelines with Brian Rosenberg talking to his team. Edgewood will be in action next week at Owen Valley. Then they will have South Putnam, then Indian Creek, Brown County, Cascade, and then they will host the WIC playoff game here at Edgewood at the end of the regular season, as Cloverdale will still have games left against Brown County, Cascade, Owen Valley, Indian Creek, and then the WIC playoff as well. So the conference opener for both teams here in the East Division of the Western Indiana Conference.
Yeah, that can't be stated. They'll be starting conference playoff with undefeated.
Be a big play here on 4th down. Graff, and he gets sacked by Jake Wilkes, and Cloverdale will take over. as they turn it over on downs.
The line of scrimmage has been dominated by Cloverdale, and you can see right there as linemen were able to get right in the backfield and were able to wrap up Graff. He had no chance of getting rid of that ball.
As it's going to be Clover's ball, 1st and 10 at the 47. And now if Cloverdale can sustain a long drive, which they're capable of, now Edgewood's backs are against the wall. Time of possession very important, as there's the handoff. Keep it on the ground and keep the clock running, as that was Abner with the carry. Winders, number 2. So the ball's at the 45-yard line. Second and 8, gain of 2 for the Clovers. Again, not a far trip for Cloverdale. Southern Putnam County, just south of Greencastle, about 30 miles or so to Ellettsville. As Watts eludes a tackle, going to try to get to the sideline, and he does. I always talk about this week to week where you turn nothing into something, and that was one of those plays by Parker Watts.
Yeah, that could have easily been a 15-yard loss, but he was able to break the tackle and was able to even get a close to a first down on it.
So a 3rd and 2 at the 39. As Watts got out of bounds. Now it's the handoff to Jackson. Jackson going to get to the sidelines.
Jackson, ball carrier.
So a good run by Jackson. 2 touchdowns on the night tonight, along with a touchdown from Abner. That's a 4th down now for Cloverdale. Looks like they are just short.
4th and 1.
So 4th and 1.
This might honestly be the ball game right here. If Cloverdale can continue this drive and zap away more time, they may have an insurmountable lead.
And they got to get it off. Play clock's at 2, now at 1. They do not get it off. But the Clover fans cheering, as that was an encroachment on Edgewood, and gives Cloverdale the first down. So give the Clovers credit. They got Edgewood to jump offside on a crucial 4th down.
Yeah, it looked like everything was going against Cloverdale. However, the defensive players can also see the play clock running down, and a player decided they wanted to get a quick jump on the snap.
There is the handoff to Jackson. So that will bring up a 2nd down. You talked about it, Quinn, that now that, Cloverdale got that first down by penalty, the clock is now even more on Cloverdale's side than it is Edgewood's.
Yeah, it's not even if Cloverdale scores right now. Another minute or 2 is guaranteed to come off, and even more if they can continue to get first downs.
So 2nd and 8 at the 30. So we got 7:45 to go here. Winders in motion. Is going to be Abner with the carry. And again, Cloverdale just keeping it on the ground and keeping time coming off that clock.
And with only 1 timeout left for Edgewood, the time slipping away is hurting even more.
Cloverdale's got all 3 timeouts as well. So that is very important to note. As 3rd and 9 at the 31 as we now hit the 7-minute mark of this fourth quarter. As you see Watts in the shotgun. Watts drops back, gonna go deep for Wilkes. Jump ball incomplete.
Knocked away, it'll bring up 4th down.
So now a 4th down for Cloverdale.
But the damage has already been done with 6.5 minutes left. They have to get 2 scores, remember, because they were able to get the extra point. They made it a 9-point game. There is no 9-point play in the playbooks.
No, there is not. You've seen a lot of crazy things in football, but that is not one of them. Henry will punt it away as it's going to go out of bounds. And Edgewood will take over.
Not the coffin corner kick from on the other side of the field, but still able to pin them at about the 10-yard line. This is going to be a long field ahead of it for Edgewood.
11-yard line is where Edgewood's going to start here. Down 9, 6:32 to go here in the fourth quarter. Western Indiana Conference East Division opener for both teams.
I believe Edgewood scored their 10 points in the first 6 minutes of the game. Let's see if they can score 10 more points in the last 6 minutes of the game.
It's going to take a lot on first down. There is Graff with the keeper trying to cut upfield. He gets out near the 20-yard line. Again, Edgewood only one timeout. Cloverdale has all 3 left.
20 to the almost the 23-yard line. That's good for the Mustangs. First
And
down.
Graff does get the first down for Edgewood. So a good run for the Mustangs. A team that does a lot better in the running game than they have the passing game last several years. Graff, it's going to be a handoff to Hall. Hall's going to get near the 30-yard line. McLaughlin, excuse me. McLaughlin's number 5, Hall's number 9. Numbers kind of look similar from this vantage point. 2nd and 4 at the 29. Approaching 5.5 minutes to go. Graff, shotgun. Will be Graff on the keeper, and he's going to get down to the 35.
Usually when you have a quarterback leading a comeback, it's by passing the ball, but he's done fairly well in terms of running. He's now gotten back-to-back first downs.
Gets the first down for the Mustangs. But a long way to go. Ball at the 36 of Edgewood. Still down by 9. That will be Graff on the keeper. Gets upfield past the 40. But you don't see, Edgewood doesn't seem to have a sense of urgency right now.
I think they've kind of resigned themselves that to get 2 possessions out of this game, they're going to need to convert an onside kick. I think that's kind of the mentality. They don't want to get too pass happy. They want to play their game, and then they did it once, try to get the ball again on a kickoff.
2nd and 5, quick pass is complete to Merriman. There he is upfield, past midfield, and pushed out of bounds to the 30-yard line.
First off, that was a very low pass that he was able to get right before it hit the ground, and then to turn and go right upfield. And now Edgewood's in business right now as they are able to flip the field.
That's a big play for Edgewood, approaching 4 minutes to go, and you get it into Clover's territory. As you see McLaughlin and Merriman going to the sidelines.
But you can see that that was based completely on playing their game.
Graff, toss it to Curtis. Curtis going to throw it toward Hall, incomplete.
He kind of got boxed out by the safety, had a chance to get to it, but the safety was just kind of like in the way.
Intended for Hall, number 9. Brings up a 2nd and 10. Approaching 4 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Again, glad you could join us. Our next game in 2 weeks, Terre Haute North at Bloomington North. That'll be a 7:30 kick. So, Graff, shotgun, 3 receivers. McLaughlin's going to get the handoff, going to get stopped. So good job by the Clovers defense. Brings up a 3rd down. And you got to think, Quinn, if Edgewood cannot convert here, approaching 3.5 to go, if Cloverdale does get the ball back, all they really do have to do is run a couple plays and this thing will be over.
Basically, if they can get 1 first down.
So crucial 3rd down here at the 28. Graff, quick strike. It's going to, does he have it? And it is caught by Hall.
Hey, he basically sacrificed yards after the catch to dive underneath it to make sure that ball didn't slip out of his hands.
What a nice catch by Cole Hall to come back and grab it and get a Mustang 1st down at about the 17. So 1st and 10, under 3 minutes to go. Graff going to go to the end zone. Incomplete.
That's a very risky play. Throwing off your back foot is never suggested unless you absolutely have to, and there was really no need to, as he didn't really have that much pressure in his face. However, luckily enough for Edgewood, there was no defender in the area to intercept the pass.
So a 2nd and 10 at the 16. 2:48 to go here. Again, Western Indiana Conference East Division opener. Cloverdale has a 6-game losing streak. Edgewood 5. Graff going for the end zone. Intercepted by Cloverdale.
Excellent coverage by the cornerback, basically boxing his receiver out, going the whole way. That was a textbook interception by the Clover cornerback.
That was Trey Henry, number 10, with the interception. And now Cloverdale takes over, and most likely this will be it because Edgewood can only stop the clock 1 time.
However, the ball is at, I believe, the 4-yard line? The 2-yard line, so it isn't over yet. If they are able to get a safety right here, that would be the best case scenario for Edgewood.
And Cloverdale does take a timeout.
Coach wanted to let them know about that even though they did just turn the ball over, it's not over yet because 2 yards the other way, and all of a sudden, Edgewood's going to get the ball back with a chance to tie the game.
As again, 2:45 to go here. Cloverdale takes over on that interception, leading 19-10. While we have a moment, we want to say a big thank you to the hardworking women and men behind the scenes. Tonight we got Rob Ramsey and Nadir Noon in the truck. We've got David Bloomberg, Skylar Ernest, Ethan Tashida, and Annette Bruner up in the up there with the cameras, so we thank you guys for braving the elements, and a great job as always bringing you the sights and sounds of high school football on Friday nights. So 2:45 left. Again, dangerous, as you said, Cloverdale kind of in dangerous territory right now at the 2-yard line. Backed up to their 2-yard line.
Yeah, Cloverdale needs to be careful. It's unfortunately not as easy as take a couple knees and then punt it away, because a couple knees and you're at a safety.
So here we go, 2:44 left. Edgewood got to get a stop. Quick strike. Watts with the slant pass to Wilkes, incomplete.
I like the aggressiveness, though. A lot of teams in this situation are going to run up the middle. However, that would have been just enough space that they wouldn't have to worry about it. However, the downside of that is the clock has now stopped, which is a huge plus for Edgewood.
Huge plus for Edgewood. They can only stop it one time. Cloverdale has 2 timeouts. Watts will be a handoff to Jackson, and he gets out of trouble past the 5-yard line.
But he did get pushed out of bounds, which again stops the clock in favor of Edgewood.
As does stop the clock, brings up a 3rd down. So they bring it out to the 5, 3rd and 7 for the Clovers. And it will be a run, but it will not be enough, and this will bring up a 4th down. Now, Edgewood will take their final timeout here with 2:27 to go.
I do like the idea of them calling the timeout right here, because this is very crucial, because a fumbled snap or a block punt or a really miskicked punt could lead to a score right here for Edgewood. So you want to cover all of your bases.
Yeah, so we've got 2:27 to go. It's a 4th down now for Cloverdale. Ball is on the 6-yard line. Cloverdale will have to punt it away, and Edgewood will get another chance to score. Cloverdale beat Edgewood last year in Cloverdale for the first time. These teams have only met 4 times in the last 23 years. But now that they are division opponents, Cloverdale joining the WIC 2 years ago, they will now meet year in and year out. So Cloverdale getting ready to punt. Looks like Hall's standing back at the 42. And they're going to fake it. They got a wide open man, and it is Drew Boyette. And he's still on his feet. They fake the punt, and it's a 1st down for Cloverdale. How about that?
Really, really gutsy play call, but I love it. What a way to get your to potentially get your first win with that beautiful play call. But again, on a rainy day, in a windy day, that took a lot of guts to call.
A lot of guts for Tom Winders in this Cloverdale squad, but Drew Boyette makes the catch. And it is a fresh set of downs as we're under 2 minutes to go now. Couple running plays, and this will be over. Edgewood out of timeouts. Play clock is at 6. And it will be a handoff. Trying to cut back. Cloverdale gets some yards past the 45-yard line. I think that's another 1st down. And that is Cave with the run. And that is a Clover first down. They now put the clock in motion. The chains are set. And now Cloverdale probably runs one or two more plays, and this will be over. If even that. Play clock's at 10. Watts gets to the huddle now. He's got to get to snap it down to 3, 2, 1, and now it expires. And the quarterback took a knee. Nothing Edgewood can do at this point, so Cloverdale is going to be Edgewood for the second year in a row. They're going to go 1-0 in the WIC East. Edgewood's going to drop to 0-3, and Tom Winters is going to get his first win as Cloverdale head coach.
And a win is a win. A first win is a first win. However, you can see the excitement on the Cloverdale sideline. That fake punt was necessary because Cloverdale was kind of just holding on. Edgewood was continuously to push, but now there's that sense of relief as they take one last knee.
And as you see the Cloverdale players, they know that they have now gotten their coach his first win. They're excited. Their 6-game losing streak is over. Meanwhile, Edgewood now has a 6-game losing streak going into their rivalry game with Owen Valley next week, as Cloverdale comes down here to Ellettsville and wins this 19-10. But you see Tice Jackson, number 5, he had 2 of the scores tonight for Cloverdale. But you see the Edgewood defense doing a good job, as up the middle went Parker Watts toward the goal line. And there you see Jackson getting his second touchdown of the night. Andrew Graff struggled, but there was the big pass play here in the fourth quarter to Jacob Merriman to get Edgewood in Cloverdale territory. Graff throws it with the comebacker to Hall. And then Graff again going toward the end zone, and that was to seal the deal for Cloverdale, as Cloverdale beats Edgewood 19-10. For all the hard-working women and men behind the scenes, for Quinn Saturday, I am Nick Jenkinson. Good night from Ellettsville.